Hiya Home Brewers, I am JabeerIni and today I've got two things for you. First, an update on my current location, and to give you a clue, I'm gonna drink this bottle of craft beer, which is called Badum, La Cerveza Artesanal de Peñíscola, which is the best beer, the best craft beer in the region, and was given to me by my mom. Thank you, Mom. And I'm gonna open it with a new official bottle opener of this channel, which says it's beer o'clock. It's always beer o'clock. So, whoops. So as you may imagine, the place where I'm at the moment is Spain. And the weather here is amazing for the time being. It's, to be honest, it feels like summer in the UK. So that's really good. I have got some concerns, I have to confess. I have some concerns of what will happen next summer, when it's actually summer here and the temperatures are, well, very high, above 40 degrees to be specific, and that can be good for fermentation. But I guess I'll figure something out. So here's the beer. Very nice color, very interesting color. It's not clear at all. Wow, it smells really good. This is a hoppy one, even if it's not an IPA, it's only a blonde beer. 5%, 5.1% ABV. It's extremely fruity. And since it's one of my favorite hops, I'm sure it's got a lot of Amarillo in there. Cheers! Wow. Lots of Amarillo and Citra in there. Well, they call this the best craft beer in the region for a good reason. I can now agree with that. If you can find it, I would recommend it. Very good one, very good one. The second thing I've got for you, as you may imagine, as you have seen the title of the video, is the taste test of the Coopers IPA we brewed some weeks ago. I had already recorded it in the old studio there in the UK with the drum set. So this will be a good chance for you to see it one last time, and of course watch the review of that beer. So let's travel in time to the old studio back there in the UK. I hope you like it. Cheers and beers! Hiya Home Brewers, I am JabeerIni and this is a taste test of that Coopers IPA I brewed several weeks ago. So as many people seemed to have liked the clicking thing on that video, let's do it again. Let's present the beer. And here we have it. This beer has been bottle conditioning for exactly 3 weeks now, so it's ready. ABV. As you may remember, the original gravity of this beer was 1055, and considering that the final gravity was 1012, as you can see there in the picture, according to Brewers Friends ABV calculator, this beer is 5.64, so let's call it 5.7% ABV, which is pretty decent for an IPA. So this time I'm not gonna open it and pour it, let's click instead. Open. Already poured in a glass. And here you have it. Look at that very nice color. It's got a more than decent amount of carbonation. The head is really stable. It's got a nice malty aroma. To be honest, I was expecting... Let me take another sniff. I was expecting more of a hop aroma than the one it has, because remember, the kit is already an IPA, so I didn't want to add too much hops in that hop tea we added to the original brew, the original kit, because I didn't want to overload it. What I'm surprised is the clearness, the clarity of this beer. Look at that, it's crystal clear, absolutely. Let me get my phone. Look at that. entirely clear. You can see some hops particles, I believe, here and there, but this is absolutely clear. And no fining agents were used in this recipe, so that's a good thing for me. Even if I don't mind a cloudy beer, I'm surprised. So aesthetically, this is a very, very, very nice beer. Look at the color. It's got a dark amber color. The head is slowly dissipating, but it's still there, a little bit of it. I'm not worried, I'm happy actually. So let's go to the most relevant part of the review. Cheers! This is... I was conditioned. I had some judgments in my head before trying this one, and one that I'm now paying special attention to is one comment made by Jake's Craft Brew. Jake from Jake's Craft Brew, or Craft Beers. Let me check. Alright, it's Jake's Craft Brewing. So Jake from Jake's Craft Brewing told me that I may find twang flavor that you normally find in kits that you don't get from partial mashes or all grain. And to be honest, I'm picking a flavor here. I'm getting a flavor that I haven't found before in any of my home brews or craft beers. The flavor that I'm getting here, I've gotten it, I've sensed it in Belgian beers. Please, Jake, let me know, is that the twang you were talking about? Because if it wasn't for your comment, I would associate the flavor, to the yeast, not to the malt extract, the liquid malt extract. Let's try it again. It's a good beer. Now, we have to take into account that this is an IPA, and I added hops to it. I added a hop tea to it, and I'm not getting too much of those hops in this beer. In fact, I don't know how to call it, but let's call it the Belgian flavor. And if any of you knows what's that, then please let me know. The Belgian flavor is the most present flavor in this beer. So I think that if there are some hops in this beer, they must be hiding from the Belgian ghost. I don't know how to call it. Still, for a beer, if I was reviewing a beer, I would say it's a very nice beer. It's very curious because well, you get that flavor. Now for an IPA, I don't know what to say. I would probably say this is not an IPA, and I'm not a beer snob or anything. I'm a guy who loves beers, and as I said, as a beer, this is fantastic. But as an IPA, I don't think this falls correctly into the category of an IPA. Oh, if that makes everyone happy now. Let's give it another try. It's a nice brew. It's a very good beer. Now, let's assume that the twang Jake was referring to is not what I'm referring to. And now I'll pretend I didn't read his comment. I would be convinced that the flavor I'm getting here is related to the yeast. And that's something that when I was reading, I read several things, as I told you, about this kit. And one of the things people said was, don't use the yeast that is provided in the kit for many reasons. and they all were suggesting to use decent yeasts, premium yeasts, well-known yeasts, etc. And I could have used very good yeast. I've got there in my fridge Mangrove Jack's Liberty Bell. I've got some US05 as well. But the thing is, if they're selling a kit, if Coopers is selling a kit with yeast on it, and apparently all you have to do is to add the brew enhancer or dry malt extract, and then pour the can, and then add the yeast, and you get beer of decent quality, well, then you should expect to have that. Now we got this, and I feel that it could have been better if I had used any of those two yeasts varieties that I have in my fridge. Can it be pimped? It can be pimped. In fact, I would change the yeast and I would add some more hops to it. Like, I would add a massive amount of hops to it just to make it an IPA. One thing that caught my attention, to be again quite honest, is the amount of yeast in grams that comes with the kit. Because it's, if I remember correctly, it's a tiny packet like this of 6 grams of yeast for a full batch of beer. And normally, when I brewed a full batch, I used twice the amount of yeast. All of this to say that I'm probably underpitching half or actually 3/4 of the number of cells that I should be pitching to brew this kit. And well, probably Coopers should know that. Which then leads me to my third comment. This kit, it was fermenting for 21 days. That's the longest fermentation I've ever had. Normally my brews, they take, the shortest one I've had, I think it was 9 days, and the longest 15 days. This one, 21. I believe it has to do with the amount of yeast that was pitched. It takes longer for them to reproduce, it takes longer for them to actually ferment the wort and turn it into yeast and into beer. I'm sorry. And now I'm thinking, but this is a field in which I am very ignorant for the time being. But in case any of you experienced homebrewers know, probably my hypothesis makes sense. Let's assume I underpitched the number of cells that would typically be needed to ferment efficiently this amount of wort into beer. So could that have caused that the yeast got stressed? Is it possible that since they were so few and they had to work a lot, is it possible that this had anything to do with the flavor of this beer? Please let me know in the comment section below. So, not impressed with this one. I think it's a very versatile option in terms of time, because I brewed in no time, but I would recommend you to pimp it a lot, actually. I think it's worth it to get a beer that is this clear, but without the Belgian ghost on it. So this is it for this week. If you like what you see, like, and don't forget to subscribe. And as usual, thanks for watching. Cheers and beers!